In 1954, a factory worker's wife in Ohio started doing one small thing with her husband's paycheck. Every week, before she paid a single bill, she set aside a little, and she dropped it into a coffee can she kept under the kitchen sink. Nobody knew it was there. Not her husband, not her children, not the neighbors. By 1968, 14 years later, that same woman paid for her family's house outright in cash and never borrowed a dollar to do it. People who heard the story assumed she must have had help or a secret inheritance or a stroke of luck. She had none of those things. What she had was a chain reaction, and today I am going to show you exactly how it worked, link by link, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And I want you to watch for one specific moment in her story, the moment the chain stopped being something she had to push and started pushing itself. Almost everyone who tries this quits long before they reach that moment, which is the whole reason it never works for them. She did not quit, and by the end you will understand exactly why that one stretch of patience was worth more than any raise she could have gotten. We need to start by killing a myth. The myth is that getting ahead with money is about one big dramatic move, the lucky investment, the perfect moment, the windfall. That is the story the modern world loves because it makes wealth feel like something that happens to you rather than something you build. But the women who quietly ended up debt-free in a generation that had almost nothing did not make one big move. They made one small move over and over, and they understood something the rest of us were never taught. Every purchase you skip does not just save you that one amount. It funds the next thing, and the next thing funds the thing after that. Skipped money does not sit still. If you place it correctly, it moves down a chain, and at every link it gets bigger. Let me walk you through a real version of that chain, the kind these women actually lived. It starts with something almost insultingly small. A skipped purchase. Not a sacrifice that hurts, just a thing she decided she did not need this week. The fancy version of a product when the plain one worked. The convenience she could do without. Call it a couple of dollars? On its own, those couple of dollars are nothing, and this is exactly why most people never start, because the first link in the chain looks pointless. But she did not spend those dollars, and she did not let them drift back into the general flow of money where they would quietly disappear. She put them in the can. Here is the first thing to understand. A dollar you do not spend is worth more than a dollar you earn, and it is not close. The dollar you earn gets taxed before you ever see it, and then it gets spent. The dollar you skip is already yours, already after tax, already sitting in your hand. So when she skipped that small purchase, she was not saving a couple of dollars. She was keeping the most valuable kind of money there is, the kind nobody takes a cut of. Now the chain begins to move. Those skipped dollars, week after week, became the first real thing in the can. An emergency fund. Not a large one, just enough that when something broke, and something always broke, she did not have to borrow to fix it. And this is the second link, and it is where the chain starts to multiply, because watch what happens. The roof needs a repair. The family with no fund borrows the money, and they do not just pay for the roof. They pay for the roof plus interest for months, sometimes years. But she pays for the roof out of the can in cash once. The repair costs are the price of the repair, and not a penny more. The family across the street pays the price of the repair and then keeps paying. Do you see what just happened? By skipping small purchases, she did not only buy herself a roof, she bought herself out of the interest she would have owed. And that avoided interest is real money that stays in her house instead of leaving it. That is the multiplier. It is not magic. It is the plain arithmetic of never renting money you do not have to rent. Now the third link. The roof is paid, the family across the street is still making payments, and here she pulls ahead in a way that compounds for the rest of her life. Because she has no roof payment dragging on her, the money that would have gone to that debt is free. It does not exist as a bill, so it goes back into the can. The skipped purchase funded the emergency fund. The emergency fund funded the cash repair. The cash repair eliminated a monthly payment, and the eliminated payment now funds the next thing. Each link did not just hand off the same dollar, it handed off a bigger one, and the next thing is bigger. Maybe it is the family car. The neighbors buy theirs on installments the way nearly everyone does, and they will pay for that car for years, and by the time it is paid off, it has cost them a third more than the sticker. She waits, she keeps the chain moving, and she buys her car the same way she fixed her roof. In cash. The day she drives it home, she owns it completely, and she has no monthly payment, which means the $40 or $50 a month that her neighbors are handing to a lender, she is dropping back into the can. The car did not cost her the next link in the chain. The car created the next link, because a paid-off thing stops taking money from you and starts freeing it. This is the part that sounds impossible until you see the mechanism. It looks like her money is multiplying on its own. It is not. What is happening is that every time she refuses to borrow, she keeps a stream of money that other people are pouring out of their lives in interest and payments. She is not earning more than her neighbors. She earns the same wage to the dollar. She is simply the only one on the street who is not leaking. And a bucket that does not leak, filled slowly, eventually overflows, while a bucket full of holes never fills no matter how much you pour in. It helps to watch the neighbor's chain run at the same time because she had one too. Everyone does. The only question is which direction it points. The neighbor skipped nothing and financed everything, and so her chain ran in reverse. The store credit on the appliance meant a monthly payment, and that payment meant there was less at the end of the month, and less at the end of the month meant that when the roof leaked she had to borrow again, and the new borrowing meant a second payment stacked on the first, and the two payments together meant even less the following month, so the car had to be financed too, and now 3 payments left her so thin that a single bad week sent her to a lender once more. Same wage as the woman across the street. Same roof, same car, same prices at the same shops. But every purchase she made quietly funded the next payment instead of the next bit of freedom, and the chain that could have lifted her spent 15 years pulling her under instead. That is the thing nobody tells you. You are already running a chain. You have just never been shown which way it is wired. And here is the moment I told you to watch for. Somewhere around the 4th or 5th year, the woman with the coffee can crossed a line she could not see at the time. Up to that point, every link had cost her real effort. She had to choose the skip, feel the small denial, resist the easy payment, and keep dropping money into a can that still did not hold very much. It was frankly boring, and it looked like it was barely working. That is the stretch where everyone quits. But once she had a paid-off repair behind her, and then a freed-up payment, and then a thing or two owned outright, the chain reached a tipping point. The money she was no longer losing to interest became larger than the money she was choosing to skip. From that moment on, the cascade was funded mostly by debts she was not paying rather than by sacrifices she was making. It had started to push itself. The boring years were not the price of the system failing. They were the price of the system starting, and she is the rare person who paid it all the way through. Let me say plainly what the chain looked like across those 14 years because I want you to feel how ordinary each step was. A skipped purchase became an emergency fund. The emergency fund became a roof paid in cash. The cash roof became a freed-up monthly payment. The freed payment became a car bought outright. The owned car became $40 a month that never went to a lender. Those dollars became a larger fund. The larger fund met the down payment on a house. And because she had spent 14 years refusing to rent money, she did the unthinkable thing for a single-income family of that era, or any era. She bought the rest of the house in cash, owed no one, and slept the sleep of a woman who could not be foreclosed on, could not be repossessed, could not be ruined by a missed payment because there were no payments to miss. And here's the line that matters most. She never once sat across a desk from a financial advisor. Nobody sold her a product. There was no app, no fund, no fee, no plan with her name on a brochure. The whole system was self-running, because each link made the next one easier. The hardest part of the chain was the very first link, the small skipped purchase that felt too small to matter. After that, the cascade did the heavy lifting, because a person with no debt has more to work with every single year, and a person drowning in payments has less every single year. They started in the same place. The chain pulled them in opposite directions. Now let me turn this over because there is a darker half to it and you need to see it. The financial world today is built on the exact reverse of this chain. It is built to make sure your skipped purchases fund someone else. Every time you are offered no money down, easy monthly payments, buy now and pay later, you are being invited to run the cascade backwards. Instead of a skipped purchase funding your next win, a financed purchase funds a lender's next win. The interest you pay is the multiplier, working, just not for you. The same arithmetic that made her free is being used in reverse to keep you paying. She kept the chain inside her own house. We have been taught to hand the chain to a bank and thank them for it. That is why this matters far beyond nostalgia. The woman with the coffee can was not morally superior, and she was not a financial genius. She simply refused to give the multiplier away. Every purchase she skipped stayed in her chain and got bigger. Every purchase we finance leaves our chain and makes someone else's bigger. Same wage, same prices, opposite direction. So if you want to start a cascade of your own, you do not need a windfall and you do not need permission. You need the first link, and the first link is supposed to feel too small. Skip one purchase this week, something you will not even miss, and do not let that money drift back into the flow. Put it somewhere it cannot be casually spent, the modern coffee can under the sink. That is the seed. Protect it. Let it become the fund that keeps you from borrowing the next time something breaks, and watch the chain begin to pull in your direction instead of against you. The first link is the only hard one. After that, it builds itself. They were never lucky. They simply understood that money you skip does not disappear. Placed correctly, it goes down a chain and grows, link by link, until a single paycheck builds a paid-off house, and a woman who never met an advisor quietly out-earns every leaking bucket on her street. If this is the kind of forgotten wisdom you want more of, the real mechanics our grandparents used to build security out of almost nothing, subscribe and stay with us. We are keeping these alive on purpose. And tell me one thing in the comments. What is the one purchase you could skip this week to start your own chain, the small one you would not even miss? Say it out loud here. Someone reading needs the nudge, and so might you.